you like in the fight? And they were talking about this fight coming up May 5th. How important to the sport that this transcends just the sport of boxing?
Well, that's the right question, too, Brian, because both these guys have plenty of zeros in their bank accounts, and they're going to get a couple more. But the sport, the future for the fans and for all the fighters when they want to go to mega fights, for the people at home, the most important people in this sport, the customers, to believe that it's going to be worth it. When they're going to pay their $55 or $54 for pay-per-view, and they're going to pay to go to the fight, and they're going to really go through all the hype of this fight. It's important that the fight really comes through in aces for the future, so other fighters can go forward and say, hey, you can believe it when we say it's a big fight. You're not going to be sucking. So I think it's important they do more than just go out there and show their dazzling speed and gifts. That they go in there and make sure that this is worthwhile.
Yeah, well, that's the point, isn't it, Teddy? That, you know, Floyd Mayweather can win in a stinker. A fight where, as a trainer, you would say, what a marvelous performance. But as a promoter, you think, wow, is that really helping the gate? What could happen here if the styles go bad? Meaning if Floyd stays away and Oscar doesn't want to chase?
Well, first of all, if Oscar stays away and uses his height, and I think that's the way that he should fight. I think that that's really the key for him, is to use his height to take away the speed of Floyd. If he does this and Floyd doesn't really press the issue, of course it can be a jabbing contest. What you want to see is sort of situation like where people are being responsible, but they're also taking chances because they're getting paid enough money. You don't want to see this. You don't want to see what you saw in the last couple rounds in the Trinidad fight with Oscar, where he was just doing enough to survive, not behaving the way you want to see him behave. What you want to do is you want to see him the way you saw him in the Quartet fight. You don't want to see him in that kind of fight. And the thing that you want to make sure...
Well, that was a different take,
obviously,
Teddy. But it doesn't matter. Teddy, what you don't want to see there, how could it be exciting? How could it be? Because, look, I'd like to be proven wrong and have a scintillating fight. How could it be great?
Look, I think that as far as breaking the fight down, that Oscar's going to have to use his height, use his reach to negate the speed, to use timing, to keep it in dimensions where he can time Floyd before he can use that dazzling speed. Someone said, hey, can Oscar deal with the speed of Floyd? No, he can't. Then how can you say he has a chance to win? Because he can make it to dimensions where speed don't come into it. I think that Floyd, if that happens, Floyd is going to have to do more than just stay outside and do this and survive and make a miss and pick spots. He's going to have to make a decision to go after it if those are the dimensions of the fight. It's going to come down to they're going to be responsible for themselves, and they're going to, a lot of times you hear people say, don't listen to the crowd. All that counts is win. These guys have enough wins. They have enough money in the bank. Now I think you do have to be concerned about the crowd. You do have to be concerned about doing the little extra, of hanging it out there a little bit and making sure that you do the things that, again, are going to allow the sport to prosper. You know, De La Hoya, I think you're going to take chances.
Where do you think De La Hoya is in his career in the ring, though, Teddy, in that could we easily be fooled by that dominant performance against Mayorga, given that it was Ricardo Mayorga, very easy to hit?
Look, Mayorga's the kind of guy that, Brian, if you go into retirement, put him on your retainer. Put him, really. No, really, Mayorga's like having a lawyer that just in case you get in trouble, you keep him on a retainer. If you're a fighter of good talent, you want to have Mayorga around when you come back because he's slow, he's wide, he's coming in, and he's going to make you, he's a tough guy, but elite fighters are going to eat him up. He's going to make you look good. So, yeah, you got to throw that out a little bit. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, what you have to concentrate on here, I think, is that Oscar cares more about his legacy, more about his pride, than he does about any more numbers on his bank account. And quite honestly, I like Oscar, but in the Hopkins fight, he didn't behave that way. Look, you could blame it and say, hey, he had a middleweight in front of him. But it don't matter. The old-timers had all kinds of fighters in front of him. He didn't behave like he wanted to win that fight at any cost, and he didn't behave that way in the last 3 rounds with Trinidad. He did behave that way in the last round with Quartet. That's what you want to see. And as far as Floyd goes, against Corrales, he went after the taller guy, and he went after him to eat him up. Right. And that's the two kind of ways. The Quartet fight for Oscar, and of course the Corrales fight for Floyd. That's what you want to see clash in that ring May 5th in Las Vegas, and then our great fans can say, hey, this really lived up to the hype.
Hey, Teddy, just quickly, because we're going to get a chance to talk about this when we're both out in Vegas next week, but make a pick on this fight. Who do you like as of right now?
I'm going to give Oscar a damn good chance because the early rounds with Zeb, you saw that talent can give Floyd trouble, but Zeb didn't have the consistency. All that experience of Oscar should give him the consistency if he can fight a specific fight on the outside and use his height to use timing and take speed out of the equation and keep it up consistently all night long. I think he can give Floyd a real run for his money.
And you're making
Decision.
that pick. You're making that pick.
All right, yeah, I got to go out there. You want me to go out there? I'll go out there. All right. Oscar by decision. Is that all right there,
That's
Brian?
it. You went out there. You did. Went and said it. All right. Teddy, I'll see you in Las Vegas. Here's what the people are saying right now. Teddy can get ready for the main event.